Hello and welcome to another special conversation here on squirrels.in. Honestly, folks, all the comments that I have been getting on my timeline, most of you are as confused as I am about what has changed in the opposition's political discourse over the last 3 to 4 months. Look at the high that the opposition had for itself when the Lok Sabha election results were declared. 240, that was where the BJP was. Rahul Gandhi suddenly was looking like a person who had found his mojo back. But since then, two assembly elections in Haryana and in Maharashtra, resounding loss in Maharashtra appears to have swung the needle firmly and very, very decisively back in the favor of the BJP. On this conversation, I'm joined by Surajit Dasgupta and Sudeep Mukhia, my two colleagues, who keep a close eye on what are the evolving political trends. So let me first begin with you, Surajit. What is it that's changed? What we saw in the Lok Sabha election results and what we are seeing now, first in Haryana, now in Maharashtra. Has the BJP changed its strategy? Has it changed the game completely?
Of course, and what I think BJP suffered from in the Lok Sabha election is hubris. It was sheer hubris that brought about this setback of just 240 seats. Ab ki baar 400 par was too boisterous, too boastful, and it was like taking the voter for granted, which the voters did not like, and of course the opposition did not lose the opportunity to exploit what could be the corollaries of that 400 plus seats. For example, the constitution could be fiddled with, which was a great concern for the Dalits, particularly because they associated with Baba Saheb Ambedkar. And therefore, the game absolutely changed. But then in the intervening 3 to 4 months, they changed their game. They explained to the people that that was never the intention of changing the constitution. They also worked on very large OBC groups, which together can throw up a formidable challenge to the dominant OBC group or any other caste group, whether it is in Haryana or in Maharashtra. In Haryana, it was the Jats. In Maharashtra, it was the Marathas.
But I'm just wondering, is it just Jats and Dalits, let's say in a particular state, voting in a particular way in the Lok Sabha elections and voting in a different way in the assembly elections? Right. Is it just that, or is there something more to it? Because look at what's happening in Parliament, where there is George Soros Foundation equals Sonia Gandhi. Look at what's happening in Maharashtra Assembly, where Nitesh Naik versus Abu Azmi battle unfolding, where he's saying you are kachra, you go to Pakistan. To me, it's looking like we're back to where we were in 2014. Who's a nationalist and who's not a nationalist? Are we back to that debate of a nationalist versus or a hyper nationalist versus a pseudo nationalist?
But before Surajit gets into that, I just want to pick up from what he's saying. We've been hearing this, and Surajit also pointing out OBC. They've again gone back to the OBCs and reconsolidated the OBCs. See, I have a little discomfort with that explanation of what actually happened. The BJP is known to have put together the OBCs over the last 10 years when it was in power, right? The OBCs had decisively shifted towards the BJP, away from everybody else. Now, what happened in 2024 general elections, that the OBCs and the lower caste suddenly decided to abandon them and follow the Samvidhan Khatre Mein Hai. And what happened in the 4 months after that the OBCs then said, let me go back to the BJP.
Right.
And in the way that they went back in
let me answer that from the Sangh Parivar's point of view. For example, for over 30 years, there has been a view in the Sangh Parivar that Hindu should stay united. And for Hindu to stay united, there are two ways of going about it. Either you do not mention caste at all, or you reach out to the castes that feel they are underprivileged or marginalized. So what you see in 2017 Uttar Pradesh election, for example, Amit Shah goes out with Buddhist monks. That was a very clear move to woo a lot of Dalits who have converted to Buddhism. A similar thing was done by Kiran Rijiju in this Maharashtra election. He again mobilized the Buddhist force. That is one way of going about it. The other way is, oh no, we are all one, there is no caste system, which is kind of utopian, which is not true for India. So I think they are more realistic. They approached Hindutva in a very practical kind of way that yes, we recognize castes, but we will not divide the society on the basis of it. But we would use that as a unifying force, that, okay, OBCs are ours, Dalits are ours, as much as Brahmins, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas are ours.
No, but but when you say that in Maharashtra, Kiran Rijiju made this outreach. Let me ask you, is the outreach which is working, or is this slogan which has been created, बटेंगे तो कटेंगे? जरा इस पे आते हैं. कटेंगे का क्या मतलब है?
So Katenge means demography. If you divide it into castes, for example, why does not Rahul Gandhi ask for an OBC and Dalit status of Muslims? Why is he not dividing Muslim? Why is he only dividing Hindus?
No, achha, tell me one thing. When I see the UP Chief Minister,
yes,
and I've seen this video, and therefore I'm only trying to bring to all our viewers the real substance of what's at play here, and that's what we try to do here at squirrels.in. ऐसे बोला जा रहा है सुजीत, बटेंगे तो कटेंगे. इसका क्या मतलब हुआ?
No, I did not see Yogi Adityanath making that gesture on camera.
A lot of people in the BJP, in the RSS, do say बटेंगे तो कटेंगे. ये आरी चल रही है.
And also,
पेड़ भी कटता है.
No, yeah, and see, there are two ways of taking the word katenge. One is metaphorical, the other is literal. Even if you take it in the literal sense, you will see, for example, in West Bengal, every year there are at least 2 communal riots, and who are the victims? It is Hindus. And why are they the victims? Because according to Bengali Hindus, Islamic threat is no threat at all. It's a hoax. It's a hoax call. So that is the prevailing view in the Bengali community, that this is a hoax created by the Sangh Parivar. It does not exist, which is why whenever they are attacked, there is nobody to save them. So that is the literal sense. But in figurative sense, it is about caste. It is about.
Is that what it is? So
no, you see, no politician. See, what is dog whistling politics? That's what it is. No politician actually goes and says, "Inko jaan se maar do."
Is it dog whistle?
It's not, that you go and say, "Inko khatam kar do."
Is it dog whistle?
See, till the time it is said in English, we find it is cool. In moral science, we were taught, united we stand, divided we fall. Nobody said it was polarization. And now, since the same thing is being said in Hindi, it becomes polarization.
No, but how is this united? And it is exactly the opposite of united we stand.
What is the meaning of fall?
United we stand.
Fall is a grave thing.
Of course it is. That is why you are always told, you always have to stand united.
Yes.
This is completely opposite of united.
Batenge to katenge is different from united we stand.
It's completely opposite. Two different things.
Why?
On the one hand, you are saying, if you fall, if you don't stay united. He is absolutely right. The Sangh Parivar, what is the Sangh Parivar's main purpose? To keep the Hindu flock together.
Right.
Yes. Within that, you acknowledge caste, you discriminate against caste, you justify the caste system, you do everything. But as long as you're Hindu, you stay together. Right? That model broke in 2024.
And has that come back?
And
is it coming back?
Maharashtra election, in fact, very ironically or paradoxically, this batenge to katenge thing actually applied on Muslims, because on multiple seats there were multiple Muslim candidates, which is why their votes got divided and the BJP candidate or the Mahayuti candidate sneaked through. That is also something that happened to several other prominent, because BJP leaders, when they are Muslims, become very prominent because they're very rare, like Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi, then there is Shahnawaz Hussain. Remember the election that Shahnawaz Hussain won from Kishanganj in Bihar. Why? Because RJD and the other guy, both were Muslims. They fought so bitterly with each other that Shahnawaz Hussain won by a very narrow margin. That is exactly the model that was replicated in Maharashtra, where seat after seat after seat, you saw that. And it is the same reason when elections are held in Gujarat, there is a district called Bharuch, which is full of Muslims.
Yes.
And in Bharuch, BJP wins because all the candidates are Muslims, and then they fight with each other.
So if I say,
but that is not, I don't think it's a logical explanation for the simple reason that, everybody has the right to fight. A lot of people say, they call AIMIM a vote cutter. Why do they call him a vote cutter? He's also fighting for his own political space, right?
That's right.
So it's not that. It's not that Muslims
I'll
don't.
tell you what the difference is.
It's not that Muslims don't vote for Hindus. You see, most people who win in Muslim-dominated areas are also Hindus.
It's a different thing.
No. Why is it a different thing? It's exactly the same thing.
I'll explain.
So this
consider Okhla Gaon in Delhi, for example. It's full of Muslims, and the Aam Aadmi Party wins. Why does the Congress not win? Congress also fields a Muslim candidate, but he does not win.
Correct.
The Aam Aadmi Party wins because Muslims.
Well, the Aam Aadmi Party has only started winning now. It's not that it's been winning.
Of course. Now,
Congress
Muslims
has been winning
have
for a
this
long
collective
time,
consciousness, and also that is evidenced by the fact that often after the Friday prayers, parche batte hain. There are pamphlets distributed.
But that is done by everybody, yaar. I mean, you know, this is what I call dog whistling.
Hear me out.
Friday prayers में पढ़ते पढ़ते.
No.
अरे भाई आप मंदिर में जाओ, मंदिर में भी आपको ये सुनाई देता है.
One of
you know, you go to a church, the Christians also say the same thing.
One of the essential messages in those pamphlets is that do not let our votes get divided.
Correct.
This is the particular party in this particular state, which is the supreme, which is the best for Muslim interests.
But you know, but Sudeep, when you say,
but you see, everybody votes for their own interests.
Okay, one by one.
A woman who votes for the BJP today is voting because she's getting.
This is something that did not happen in Maharashtra. What happens in Okhla Gaon of Delhi did not happen in Maharashtra.
No, we're not talking about specific.
No,
no.
You made one point. You made one point, and that's the crux of the argument today. When you say, Surajit argues that masjid में पर्चे बटते हैं. You say मंदिर में भी बटते हैं, but the reality is मंदिर में तो पर्चे नहीं बटते.
नहीं पढ़ते क्यों नहीं पढ़ते?
I don't think there is any carrier
no.
Temples.
There are, of course, there is.
This person.
Boss, no. One second.
Yes.
You go to a church. The church is very clear. They say you have to vote for X, Y, or Z. Why did politicians go to the Shahi Imam? Shahi Imam has zero political influence, but they still went to the Shahi Imam.
But Congress,
I'm coming to that.
Church maybe yes.
I'm coming to that. In Congress, leaders were known to have gone to the Shahi Imam. Every time they went, people said, "But why do you go to them? They have zero influence."
I think we are flying off the tangent.
No, we're not. One second. Let me finish my point.
Back to the track. What we are discussing? We are discussing batenge to katenge.
No, I am telling you.
I'm on that.
So Muslims have demonstrated that it's a truism. बटेंगे तो कटते हैं.
Correct.
बटते हैं तो कटते हैं.
Yeah.
इसलिए मुसलमान नहीं जीत पाए.
नहीं, क्यों नहीं जीत पाए? मुस्लिम जहाँ जीतता है वहाँ जीतता है. You know, it's not that Muslims don't win.
In Maharashtra, I'm saying.
In Maharashtra, Muslims had won. If they lost this time, now you can't base it on one election. बटेंगे तो कटेंगे was even the allies of the BJP, Shiv Sena, Shinde, and NCP said this is a divisive slogan. We do not want to go behind this. How does one explain?
Well, actually, Ajit Pawar himself.
Ajit Pawar said
he himself had taken a position that Yogi Adityanath's formulation has no takers in Maharashtra.
But how do you defend
for
that?
17 years, when Samta Party and then Janata Dal United was with the BJP, even during Vajpayee's rule, Nitish Kumar and party had clearly told Vajpayee that we are not with this kind of politics. Right. So we will have a common minimum agenda, which later on even UPA had a common minimum agenda. But that is okay. If all the three parties think alike, they would be one party. It's an alliance, it's not a party. That's all right if Ajit Pawar does not agree.
No, that is not the point. No, this is not common minimum program.
Let me come back to the point we're trying to understand today is this. That what is it that has fundamentally changed in favor of the BJP and what is it that's fundamentally gone wrong against the opposition? I have a simple line. Maybe it's too simplistic. Is it that in our country, we have now come to this conclusion that no matter what is the volume, what is the level of development, at the end of the day, what really brings people together or creates an advantage for the BJP is the business of polarization, the politics of Hindutva. Is this Hindutva being repackaged in some way than what we had seen in 2014?
See, as a smart politician, every political party will try to get maximum of the social realities. Now, the Sangh Parivar has been doing it since the Ram Janmabhoomi movement. And they have been doing it especially at times when the electoral pundits say that the margins could be really very close. Take, for example, the 2019 Lok Sabha election. Was the tenure of Modi between 14 and 19 really bad? No, but he had to remind the people again and again of Balakot strikes. Why? He could have just fought on economic issues. It's a sad reality in our country, not just for the BJP, but across parties, that until you arouse people's emotions, you cannot be sure of a victory in the election. So whether it is Hindutva or there is reverse polarization, let me remind the audience by saying that polarization always begins from the other side. But it is only
which is the other side here.
Which is the other side? And
that's not
it's not 2019.
The self-certified secular parties.
No. It is not 2019, by the way. 2024 also exactly the same thing happened.
For decades after decades, they did iftar party. Nobody screamed.
So why should I not go iftar party?
Nobody screamed. This time in Maharashtra, Maulana Sajjad Nomani not only
said what? Please tell the audience what did he say?
Two things. He talked about vote jihad.
Correct. What is
he
vote jihad?
also talked about Muslim quota in education and
Muslim
employment.
quota, my dear sir, Muslim quota was in the BJP's this thing in
Not only
Karnataka.
that.
And
not
one
only
second,
that, a
since
very
you brought-
important thing.
No. Since you brought up vote jihad, I will tell you this.
Hmm.
Vote jihad in Hindi would mean आप संघर्ष कीजिए vote के लिए.
No.
That's what it means.
That's an Islamic
But you,
apologist
no.
that jihad
You will
actually
put
means
in
something
boss.
esoteric in their religion.
That is not an
No.
apology.
Not
that is an
only that.
explanation.
Let me
which
give you
refuse
a
to
bigger
accept.
example than
You
Sajjad
refuse to
Bhamani.
accept.
Akbaruddin Owaisi came to campaign for AIMIM in Mumbai and other parts of Maharashtra, and he repeated his infamous 15-minute speech.
Correct.
कि 15 मिनट के लिए पुलिस हटा दो, उसके बाद देखा.
Correct.
That's also polarization. That's also bad.
But
That's also
the media did not
reprehensible.
condemn him.
Of course, the media condemned him. Media condemned him every time he said it. Every time he said it,
Media
the
went
media
hook and
condemned it.
sinker after
Okay, here's my
Devendra Fadnavis
disagreement. Okay, gentlemen,
saying,
gentlemen,
why are you polarized?
Here's
No,
my,
no,
here's
no,
my
no.
disagreement.
That's completely agree.
Here's my disagreement. Here's my disagreement.
Right.
Akbaruddin Owaisi belongs to a party like AIMIM.
Right.
What is the total level of representation of that party?
0.9%.
Nationally?
0.9%. I'll tell you.
The Bharatiya Janata Party is a party which is in par the center with 240 Lok Sabha seats.
All
the
right.
Prime Minister, Chief Ministers.
Fine.
Surely, when someone like, the Hyderabad leader of the BJP, who was, pulling a bow and arrow in the run-up to Lok Sabha elections,
Right.
when that kind of optics takes place versus an Akbaruddin Owaisi, as reprehensible both may be, don't you think that maybe the fact that someone from the ruling party is taking these positions will of course end up creating more debate, will end up creating a bigger political discourse?
See, if you consider IM not to be on par with BJP, then consider Sharad Pawar and Rahul Gandhi or Patole, for example. Why were they seen sharing the stage with all skull-capped people? And why was the audience?
But they're all voters. I don't understand. What is wrong with skull caps? If you can
No,
wear,
if it is
can
not
wear it,
wrong, see, my...
Arre bhai, here voters, they are my voters. They are Muslims.
Let me
voters
put it
in this
another
country or
way.
not?
Let
We
me
have
put
not
it
reached a
another-
stage where Muslims will not be. This is not Hitler's Germany where Muslims will not be allowed to vote.
Let me put it another way.
No, but boss,
I'll put it in the converse way in which the famous lyricist Javed Akhtar puts it. When Simi or Indian Mujahideen was banned, he said in several debates on television channels, आपने सिमी को बैन किया, बहुत अच्छा किया, बजरंग दल को भी बैन कीजिए. What I am saying is the converse of that. You condemn only Hindu polarization. You keep absolute mum
incorrect.
when Muslim polarization takes place.
Absolutely incorrect.
You take out your old videos. You take out your old videos. When did you mention Maulana Sajjad Bhamani? You did not.
When you say you,
You mean media.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
That's a sweeping glass,
That's what I'm
You
trying
are
to get
not
at.
the person Sudeep Mukhia.
No, is that, but I'm making it directly personal.
Yes.
I'm saying that is that the fundamental reason why the BJP is back to its winning ways post the Lok Sabha elections? You see, in 2019, we heard the term urban Naxals for the first time.
Yes.
Now I don't hear about that term.
Well, it's come back now.
Right? It's come back now, but now it's come back. George Soros Foundation, Sonia Gandhi.
That's a different thing.
Right? Is all this Hindutva 2.0 or 3.0? 2014 was 1.0, 2019 was 2.0, 2024 is it 3.0?
No, so in the
Being
context
led
of
by
Maharashtra,
It's an international issue. It's a foreign policy issue.
It's a domestic issue now.
No,
it is a domestic
It's
issue.
of course,
it has become. That is because of the way the United States, conducts its foreign policy. Look at what they did in Bangladesh because of Saint Martin. So it's George Soros is nothing but a front. And as
how is George Soros a front? He's a billionaire. He's a 94-year-old billionaire.
There have been several CIA operatives after their retirement who went on record saying they disrupt the entire world.
Yeah, of course they do.
Now the government of India cannot lock arms with the government of the United States.
Yeah, correct.
So they are picking on a soft target, George Soros.
No, but George Soros is no target.
But here's my point.
This.
Here's my point. Are we in consensus on this?
No, one sec. Before we get into consensus, I just wanted to, since Surajit talked about Maharashtra, if you look at the data in Maharashtra, we all said, I also said, everybody said, that Hindutva worked and all, they brought in a lot of Hindutva and polarization and this and that. Fact of the matter is, if you see the BJP's vote share from last election, assembly election to this assembly election, it's gone up by 1.3% or something. That's it. The number of seats have gone up by 20. They already had 105 seats. Yes. It's not that, they came from 12 seats to, 122, They already had 105 seats. They've gained 27 seats. Yes, it's a big jump. It's not a small jump. But it's not that, they came from 50 to 127.
But
So-
Sudeep, if you recall,
So it's not, just
if you
Hindutva
recall
that
the
work.
squirrel's analysis of the Lok Sabha election results, even then we had said that Rahul Gandhi may be jumping on his feet, but the Congress has only got 1.35%
No.
votes
Vote
more
share is not
than
a
what
this
it
thing,
had received in
yeah.
2019. So it's a similar story.
Can
But this
elections
is-
be won in this country? The kind of performance which the BJP is now putting in do we say that this is smart political, let's say, political tactic, roundabout tactic, or do we say that, you know what, cometh the election hour, cometh some version of Hindutva politics yet again? Is that the brutal, harsh reality of Indian politics?
As far as I can see right now, I don't see how you can, given the fact that, every economic indicator on which we had talked about for the last 10 years, every economic indicator that you said, Viksit Bharat, are you listening, for instance, are you hearing Viksit Bharat? You're not hearing Viksit Bharat. Once in 10 days you hear Viksit Bharat. Earlier it was 10 times in one day. Are we hearing about 2047? Are we hearing about these? We are not. Because the economic foundation of the country is not what we thought it will become in 10 years from 2014. So, you ultimately fall back on what Surajit is saying, emotional issues. And the easiest emotional issue is religion in this country.
But you see, there are certain things that are very hard realities about the Indian electorate. It is that how many people are evolved so educationally that they would appreciate things like GDP, inflation,
Who will understand this?
repo rate, all the technical jargon.
Not GDP,
Which
repo rate.
politician in his right mind would talk about economic jargon?
I'll tell you which politician is right.
But
no.
Let me also talk about exceptions. BJP has also recently won Odisha without any Hindutva plan. Across 7 states of the Northeast, it wins, by being a part of NEDA, Northeast Democratic Alliance. So there it does not require Hindutva.
One second.
I heard Himanta Biswa.
Only Himanta Biswa.
Except,
Himanta.
Is not a
By
practitioner.
the way,
whose DNA is of Congress.
One second.
He was Rahul Gandhi's right hand.
But he wasn't saying all this in the
I mean,
Congress. He wasn't saying all this in
He
the
has
Congress.
been with the BJP now long enough, and clearly Himanta Biswa Sarma's trajectory.
Also Bhupen, I wanted to, since Dada brought this up, I want to make this very clear that BJP actually doesn't win in the Northeast. It is always the junior partner with a couple of seats, except Tripura and Assam, right? Other thing is, what you said earlier about, Odisha. Odisha also has come after that. Naveen Patnaik was in power for a long time.
You're talking about voter fatigue.
The change had to come,
Could be.
Voter fatigue.
I'm not taking anything away from the BJP.
Bottom line is this: when I'm hearing from both of you, that, well, firstly, don't make the mistake of thinking that Hindutva has gone. Politics in this country is, I think, now embedded. The word Hindutva is embedded in the political DNA, political jargon, in the political discourse of this country. The BJP brings out different dimensions of this phraseology in different elections, from urban Naxals to batenge to katenge. Net, in a nutshell, you want to win elections, particularly if you're a BJP candidate, you're not going to win elections by talking about shining India or by talking about GDP. That's it then from Sudeep, me and Surajit. If you've liked this conversation, do subscribe to our channel. Visit us on our website, squirrels.in. I look forward to hearing from you on our social media handles.